Rowan Pierce's disappearance seemed like another runaway case, but when D4vd's sleek black Tesla was discovered with a dismembered body in the trunk, their names became forever linked in a mystery darker and more calculated than anyone could have imagined. The fog hung low over Greenhaven that morning, turning the service road into a ribbon of pale gray that seemed to stretch into nowhere. Commuters passed the area in silence, their headlights cutting thin tunnels through the mist. Parked just beyond the cracked shoulder sat a sleek black Tesla, its windows so dark they mirrored the dull sky and the silhouettes of bare trees. At first, it looked like someone had simply left it overnight, but the car felt strangely out of place, clean and polished amid the damp gravel and weeds. A cyclist noticed the faint, sharp scent of metal drifting from the direction of the trunk. He slowed uneasy, before pulling out his phone to call the authorities. Minutes later, the first patrol car arrived, its flashing lights bleeding red through the haze, and officers approached cautiously, their footsteps crunching softly on wet stones. The vehicle's doors were locked, yet a quick scan revealed no sign of forced entry or damage. Officers circled the car, their beams sweeping across the glossy panels, until one of them paused at the rear. Condensation clung to the edge of the trunk, and something about the seal looked disturbed, as if it had been opened and shut in a hurry. When the emergency release finally clicked, the heavy lid lifted with a slow hiss of pressure. A sudden wave of odor escaped, a mixture of chemical, plastic, and something darker, something unmistakably organic. Inside lay a large duffel bag wrapped in thick layers of industrial plastic sheeting, taped meticulously from end to end. The shape beneath was irregular, heavy, and unmistakably human. The road fell silent except for the hum of the Tesla's battery cooling system. An officer stepped back and radioed for detectives and forensic specialists, his voice tight. Within an hour, the area swarmed with crime scene technicians in pale suits, their cameras flashing through the fog. They worked with mechanical precision, photographing the car from every angle while others prepared to move the grim package. When the plastic was carefully unwrapped, the truth became impossible to ignore. Dismembered human remains, the body of a teenager whose features were only partially recognizable. Running the plates revealed an unexpected name. The car belonged to an up-and-coming music producer known online as D4vd. Within moments, the news reached local dispatch, and whispers of the discovery began to ripple beyond the small town. What had seemed like a routine abandoned vehicle was suddenly the center of a chilling mystery, one that promised to reach far beyond the quiet edges of Greenhaven. Investigators wasted no time once the Tesla was towed to the secure forensic bay, knowing that every digital trace might hold the key to the teenager's final hours. The first breakthrough came from the vehicle's own memory. Tesla's onboard systems quietly store more than most owners realize: navigation history, door openings, even the weight of items placed in the trunk. Technicians discovered a trail of late-night journeys over the past several months, many to isolated highways and forgotten industrial parks miles from any recording studio or scheduled performance. Each stop seemed purposeful, the timing almost mathematical. The search quickly expanded to the registered owner, a music producer who went by the name D4vd. His sudden rise in the underground music scene made him a minor celebrity, which meant his every move left a larger digital footprint than the average citizen. A warrant allowed detectives to seize his laptop, to phones, and a set of external drives. What they found was far more organized than expected. Hidden beneath ordinary folders of music projects were encrypted archives, each protected by complex passphrases. Digital forensics cracked the first layer within hours and revealed a series of high-resolution drone photographs. The images were eerie: dense forests, crumbling warehouses, and empty quarries shot from overhead, each marked with time stamps and coordinates. Cross-referencing those coordinates with police databases revealed a chilling pattern. Several matched the last known locations of missing persons from different states, cases that had gone cold without a single lead. None of those victims were connected to one another in life, yet here they were, drawn together in a single digital collection. Investigators questioned how D4vd had obtained such specific imagery and whether he had personally traveled to those places. Further analysis of his browsing history uncovered a trail of obscure message boards and encrypted chat rooms where users exchanged techniques for disappearing without a trace. Among the recovered messages were conversations with anonymous handles discussing secluded routes, weather conditions, and disposal methods. The language was careful but unmistakably strategic, as if the participants were planning events rather than merely speculating. Perhaps the most unnerving clue came from his cloud storage. Buried in a folder disguised as promotional artwork was a set of documents listing payments to a shell corporation. The company's name led to a vacant office building, but the transactions pointed to property rentals in remote areas. Each rental coincided with the time frames of the missing person cases. For detectives, the evidence painted a picture that was growing darker by the hour, hinting that the gruesome discovery in the Tesla might be only one piece of a meticulously orchestrated series of crimes. As analysts dug deeper into the digital evidence, the lifeless teenager in the Tesla finally gained a name. Fingerprints taken from the remains matched those of 17-year-old Rowan Pierce, a runaway reported missing half a year earlier from a bustling city 300 miles away. The identification sent a ripple of urgency through the investigation, for Rowan's case had languished without leads since the night security cameras captured him stepping onto a midnight bus bound for an unknown destination. No transactions followed, no phone signals emerged, and his social media went silent, as if he had simply dissolved into the dark. Detectives began tracing the teenager's last movements, starting with the bus terminal where he was last seen. Surveillance records revealed a curious detail: an unmarked delivery van parked near the platform moments before Rowan arrived. The van's license plate was fake, but its outline matched vehicles rented under the same shell corporation discovered in D4vd's encrypted files. Investigators theorized that Rowan might have been lured or intercepted before he even boarded the bus, a theory strengthened by a small receipt found in Rowan's abandoned bedroom, a digital music ticket for a private event hosted weeks earlier by D4vd's management team. The management company itself became a labyrinth. Financial statements showed routine payments to freelance contractors, but several entries stood out: recurring transfers to accounts under aliases, all connected to properties scattered in rural outskirts. Detectives followed these money trails to a rusting warehouse on the edge of Rowan's hometown. Though it appeared long abandoned, faint tire marks crisscrossed the dusty entrance. Inside, investigators found scraps of heavy-duty plastic sheeting similar to the wrapping discovered in the Tesla's trunk, along with faint traces of a cleaning chemical used to dissolve organic residue. Forensic teams collected every fragment, though none offered direct proof of who had been there. While the public speculated wildly about D4vd's involvement, one more startling connection emerged. Data pulled from the producer's cloud accounts included encrypted audio files. When decrypted, they revealed ambient recordings of distant trains, bus engines, and faint city sounds backgrounds that eerily matched the terminal where Rowan vanished. Experts confirmed that these recordings had been captured weeks before Rowan's disappearance, suggesting careful surveillance. Each revelation deepened the mystery. Had Rowan been specifically targeted for reasons no one yet understood? Or was he just another piece in a broader and more deliberate pattern? The case shifted from a single horrific discovery to a chilling narrative of planning, observation, and unseen connections stretching far beyond a single night. The Tesla itself became the most valuable witness, holding a memory far sharper than any human recollection. Forensic engineers extracted weeks of hidden telemetry that mapped every journey with precise timestamps, speed variations, and sudden stops. The car's route history revealed a chilling pattern in the 48 hours leading up to the discovery. It had traveled along remote county roads at night, making 6 unexplained pauses, each exactly 13 minutes long. None of these locations had streetlights or security cameras, only dense woods and stretches of forgotten farmland. Investigators drove to each site and found faint evidence of recent activity: compressed grass where a vehicle might have idled, discarded fragments of heavy-duty plastic, and in one clearing, a half-buried length of chain glinting in the dirt. Technicians also uncovered a hidden modification beneath the trunk floor. What appeared to be a standard battery compartment concealed a shallow cavity sealed with industrial adhesive and accessible only through a magnetic release disguised as part of the rear bumper. Inside lay an envelope, waterproof and meticulously sealed, containing several unsettling items. The first was a series of glossy photographs of Rowan Pierce, each taken weeks before he vanished. The angles suggested surveillance from a distance: a rooftop, a crowded street corner, a bus stop, always with Rowan in focus while life blurred around him. There was also a small flash drive encrypted with a passcode derived from GPS coordinates that led back to the same abandoned warehouse already tied to the case. The Tesla's internal cameras offered more subtle clues. Though the main cabin feed had been erased, the system recorded faint audio triggers whenever doors opened or closed. A distorted voice, barely audible, murmured a phrase investigators could not immediately decipher, followed by the sound of shifting weight and the faint drag of something heavy across the trunk's lining. Forensic acoustics confirmed the recordings were genuine and had not been tampered with, yet the timestamp placed them only hours before the vehicle was found abandoned. Even more disturbing was a pattern in the battery logs. Data showed sudden power draws at specific intervals that did not match normal usage, almost as if additional equipment had been connected to the car's power supply. Investigators speculated about hidden cameras or sensors running independently of Tesla's standard systems. Every revelation hinted at meticulous planning, a mind calculating every detail while remaining confident the evidence would remain buried in layers of encrypted code and mechanical silence. The Tesla, designed as a marvel of modern engineering, had become a silent accomplice, carrying secrets darker than any witness could recount. Just as investigators prepared to move on the mounting evidence and secure an arrest warrant, the case veered into a baffling new direction. Surveillance footage from the luxury apartment building where D4vd lived captured his final known movements. At 3:17 a.m., only hours after forensic teams began analyzing the Tesla, he stepped from the elevator wearing a dark hooded jacket and carrying a small black backpack. His face remained hidden beneath the brim of a cap, and his phone was left behind in his unit, neatly placed on a charging pad as if to prevent tracking. Building cameras showed him exiting through a service door that led to an alley shrouded in shadows. From there, the trail dissolved into darkness. Detectives quickly issued alerts to airports, train stations, and border crossings, but no tickets, passenger manifests, or security images revealed his escape. The next lead arrived from a small private airstrip 20 miles away, where night staff recalled hearing an engine around 4 a.m. Though no official flight plan had been filed, tire impressions near the runway matched a rideshare vehicle seen idling nearby earlier that night. Yet when the driver was questioned, he insisted he had received a cancellation and never picked up a passenger. Days later, as the media frenzy intensified, a plain cardboard package arrived at the office of the lead investigator. No return address, only a smudged postmark from a coastal town hundreds of miles north. Inside was a single Polaroid photograph of a rocky shoreline at dawn, waves striking jagged cliffs beneath a sky streaked pink and gray. Taped to the back of the photo was a small brass key labeled simply "Next." No fingerprints, no DNA, nothing to suggest who had handled it. Forensic experts examined the key and determined it belonged to a model of locker commonly found in European train stations, but no station in the country used that exact type. Tips poured in from people convinced they recognized the coastline in the picture, but every promising lead ended in disappointment. Search teams combed through coves and harbors without success. Weeks stretched into months, and despite the overwhelming digital evidence linking D4vd to Rowan Pierce's death, the absence of a suspect stalled the case. Rumors swirled that the producer had powerful allies or a meticulously prepared escape plan, while others whispered that the key pointed to yet another hidden location waiting to be uncovered. The Tesla, once a symbol of innovation, remained sealed in an evidence warehouse, its silent systems holding secrets no one had yet unlocked, as the figure at the center of it all vanished into legend.